computer. I guess we don't get a message now that says recording in progress. Good morning.
Morning, Curt.
Toast to coffee. Love you, brother.
Boy, I was supposed to do this noise right here. That was for the people who weren't paying attention. They won't know that it was that late.
Yeah. Anyway, so yesterday we ran an experiment of some software that records and summarizes the discussion we had, and basically it takes notes. And so I'm going to go and show you what it results. So I'm going to share my screen.
Okay. Boom.
And so this is the software we're using, which is what you got the alert from a few minutes ago. And it does a recap right here of our conversation. And you know what? It's really good. It's like, I'm just going to copy and paste that into the notes for every.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually how your thinking changed over the years, but all right. Then you go into the transcript. And it covers everything we freaking said.
Wow. Wow.
That's where we talked about your cards, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely freaking love this. I have no idea what this means. Increase sentiment.
How interesting.
Does that mean we're being emotional like normies?
Something like that.
So that now it goes, then it says, well, what's a deep dive?
Wow.
You notice that I do way too much talking. All right. Added, so sentiment is toward the meeting based on facial cues. They're trying to figure out how engaged they are. Okay, so they're asking stoic people to discussing scientific matters how sentimental we are. Well, our charisma is just below the threshold.
We're gonna have to work on that, are we?
I don't know.
Oh my.
And these are the suggested takeaways. So this thing is really fucking amazing. Now, I haven't looked at any of this yet, so I want to look at what coaching says. Okay, so we're talking at the right pace according to this thing.
That's nice.
And I actually prefer talking faster, but non-inclusive terms. Fucking stupid shit. Hell, you guys are screwed. This goddamn crap.
Oi.
I love this thing. It's freaking awesome. Oh
my Lord.
Interruptions. Oh, this is gonna be all my fault.
I did my share.
Oh, wait. That was you. Wait.
It's all me. I take the hit. Oh my.
That's okay. Well, if you didn't interrupt me, the percentage that snap of who's talking would go down even further.
It's true.
Oh, bias.
Uh-oh.
Geez, Brad. Of course, I know that. I knew that's about you. Charisma.
Oh
charisma is slightly below what's. Dude, you're getting your ass kicked here.
I am. It's awful.
Are we recording? This thing is so awesome.
Wow.
So those are the basic. You get the recap, which is the notes of the transcript, the deep dive, which shows you
Yeah.
this stuff and the highlights, and then you get the coaching, which was the advice that's. Oh, did we do the other ones? Did we do inclusion and impact? Yeah, we did.
Impact.
So I don't know. What do you think?
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I think that's freaking awesome. I mean, just for that, to be able to copy and paste that into.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Right. And I think if I check, how long does it take for it to come back? It takes a couple of hours. No, it doesn't. It takes time. It takes a few minutes. Because we finished it one yesterday, so it take 20 minutes. And chapters. So we could actually we're going to do the highlights. Brad's note cards, sentiment, grammars. How many professors? Yeah, I don't know if this is. If it did chapters, that would be cool. But they're right. Basically, these are the chapters. Wait, oh, here it is. That's what we want.
Oh my.
If we take that and copy it into the text, we've got a good.
Oh right, and it has links.
Right.
Times markers. That's pretty cool.
So I mean, that's pretty cool stuff as far as I can tell. All right, so I don't know what this costs if we have to upgrade the plan, because we're on free trial right now. I don't know if that means one seat. So it's it's at the enterprise. I don't know what one seat means.
I don't either.
So, in any event, I think we probably want to use that toy.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we've learned something today. Hopefully, we've shared that with the audience.
I did it. I interrupt too often, and I'm not charismatic enough.
No.
And I don't.
And you're biased.
Yes, that's true. But I don't believe any of those curses belong to me. However.
and I swear too much.
I don't think I owned one of those.
No, you didn't.
My.
So, well, yeah, so this is like we have a group that meets, I don't know, sort of quarterly, and we have a couple of guys who are chefs. So,
Yes,
caught some enormous stripe something or other, and so we had us down for, I don't know, some sort
of.
of.
Want to be sharing this screen?
Oh no.
All right. Sorry to interrupt you yet again.
That's quite all right if you didn't interrupt me. I just blither endlessly, meandering for hours. So anyway, on the way down, to confirm that, on the way down there, there's the way we do is we drive to this place where these guys cook, and then we have a long dinner. We talk politics and ideas and stuff, and so it's a good gathering, and it varies in size from 10 people to 25 people, right, depending on what's going on. And it's put together by the fellow who runs, I can find it here real quick. The name of he runs anyway. I don't know if I should say this.
You don't have to.
It's not Quillette. It's one of the one of the CD Media, and so they produce a lot of very Trumpy
Mm,
style, and it's an emphasis on the emphasis on the conspiracy
mm,
slash oppression narrative. So it's pretty populist in
mm,
objective. So I always go there because it's like I don't have a chance to talk to this category of people, especially someone who's smart. I mean, this is a ex special forces guy and whatever, so he's very interesting fellow. And
mm,
he runs all these newspapers all over the place for CD Media, and they focus on local activism, which is pretty impressive. But anyway, so I go and talk to go down and we talk to these guys. We have a conversation, and so on the way down there, of course, my friend picks me up, and then we drive to halfway down there, and then one of our friends picks us up, and we drive all the way to the shore. No, it's down on the shore, and while we're dead there, I'm teasing the guy because the last time the guy who's driving, because the last time he said, well, the last time we met, you told me I talk too fucking much. He says, I never said that. No, whose memory you want to bet against, mine or yours? I mean, of course, it's only half true. What he said was, you got an opinion on everything, right? So and he teased me again last night. I mean, we're sitting there and he says, I'm not, I said, I'm not informed enough to give an opinion on that. He says, you got to be kidding. Right. And so he's teasing me. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's how you know that someone is being truthful, is when they don't know something, they say, I don't fucking know. Right. I mean, but if I know something, I'll talk about it. Right. So we're just teasing. So I got the same shit. I get the same shit treatment from everybody. And of course, then my best friend here locally says, well, Curt, you talk too much. What are you complaining about? I know, that's why it doesn't bother me. I'm okay with people telling me to shut the fuck up.
oh my.
It doesn't bother me. I'm like, I know it's a problem. Just put it, just, it's like, the problem is they're getting to be good enough friends that they know if you put a quarter in, do little talk until you start laughing at them, right? I mean, so
Right. Oh, the joke's on me.
the
Oh,
the
oh.
joke's on when I get it, but you got, as an autistic, you can't be mad about it. You have to let it become funny. I mean, because you can, like, I try to control it, but if I'm spinning on some fucking arc or something, forget it. I mean, I'm not really here, right? It's the bot talking.
Right. It's like there needs to be a neon sign that says bot at work.
Yes, exactly. So we're having fun. So we had a lot of time, but what they said at the end of the night last night, because I said, we spent the past 2 years, Brad and I, trying to make this something that people could understand. And there was one guy's mom there. She must be in her early 80s.
Okay.
And she's very Christian because her husband was a pastor.
Okay.
And so I got to have, like, I was like, let me see if I can explain this to you. Because if I can explain it to you, then it's my success, then I feel like I've done my job.
That's right.
Right. And then we're not talking about, we're talking about a normal, usual mom, right? Church going mom, right? We're not talking about anybody who's with her. Of course, she's Scandinavian, so that's a few points in her favor, but that's my compliment. So I mean, she was pretty awesome. And she's there like most people, is like, you can tell them, well, I mean, you're a good person, I love you and respect you, but you're asking me to do my job versus tell you I care about you. Which thing do you want me to do right now if I'm answering a truthful question? I said, so if I'm answering a truthful question, I'll speak in what we can testify to. If you're asking me like a question, what I believe in God, and I pray or talk to God every fucking day, right? I mean, but I don't have to convince myself that I understand his existence.
That's right.
I don't need to justify why talking to God works for me. Right. I have a vague idea psychologically why it would work, even if there's nothing else there, but
That's right.
whatever. So we go through so we covered all sorts of issues, race differences, class differences, why people have these particular biases. We got into the universe and God and whatever.
Mm.
And they said at the end of the meeting, we need to take it on the road, which is what I thought you'd find be interesting. is that this is the first time I've met with a bunch of people who aren't, I mean, some of the guys, I mean, these are not stupid folk, right? But there's a broad range of people. There's another programmer there. There's a guy from Colombia there who's, older and understands all the integration issues. There's my friend who worked for one of the big investment banks. There's another guy who's independently wealthy and is in the investment banking business. And, but then there's ordinary guys who are like salesmen for Oracle. And so we have this pretty interesting collection. And we have people like the guy I just mentioned from Oracle, who's pretty forgiving, like sort of like I am, right? I mean, I'm too forgiving from the left to the right's point of view, right? From Martin's point, hi Martin, I'm too forgiving from your point of view in particular, right?
That was particularly engaging. I think you're going to get extra points for that.
I'm going to get extra points for that. He loves it. The problem is he doesn't give you any emotional reward. Like there's no drama when he approves or disapproves. He's stoic all the time. So it's like I feel like I have to amp it up in order to get something, and it just doesn't work, right? Same with Brandon. You can't fucking agitate that guy. You either. Most of our guys are so stoic. It's a perpetual cause of frustration for me that I can't get any reaction. So anyway, so the point of what we had is that, I felt for the first time, and this is the way I'm thanking you indirectly, that a roadshow is possible. Because if you look at what we know, I tried to make this case in an example last night, and I did a pretty good job. I was like, we know what we know what we don't know. But what we know, it's amazing how much we know about what we do know. Right. And when you and I talk, it's like, or you and me and Brandon and Luke and Martin in particular, probably Jacob as well. When we talk, certainly probably Gabriel as well too. I mean, it's not a small number of us anymore. It's like there isn't actually much in the range of human knowledge we can't explain. Right. I mean, we've gone through the first principles, the entire fucking spectrum of grammars, right up through lying, from math through lying. I mean,
that kind of covers it.
That kind of covers it, right? I mean, so we can address pretty much every grammar of every paradigm, whether it's deflationary, inflationary, or fucking outrageous lying, right? Or baiting into hazard, or reflection and aggression, right? We can address that whole spectrum now. And so the average, even an educated person, probably doesn't understand that's possible.
Right. It's a certain incredibility of it, which you can't imagine it being. You don't imagine it being possible until you understand it. And I don't think that there's any way around that.
Right. And I was trying to think of last night if I could do it with people. I could do it with ternary logic of the universe, through the grammars, right? And then show it there. I probably could do it in those steps, right? The ternary logic, the first principles, the grammars, and then I would say, okay, now what we have here is the logic of everything.
So it's an outrageous claim.
It seems insane. Like I told one of the guys, and this is a smart guy, he's an engineer. And I talked to him last night. I said, if you told me today, just whatever, and I hadn't done this work, what I'm about to tell you, I would say you're nuts.
Right. I think that's not unreasonable.
It's a reasonable expectation for people to call us nuts. But I mean, I don't, what bothers me is like seek to understand so that you can accurately falsify. Don't just assume that we're nuts. I mean, even though it's easy to assume we're nuts.
That's right.
But everything.
Right. So it comes to this, it's like It's not an opinion.
No, we don't do opinions. We might do opinions on top of a proof. Right? So we might say, well, we write a proof and that's going to lead to harm. And we'd prefer not to have that harm. Right? You might prefer to have that harm in exchange for whatever, right? And it's just like I might prefer to bear a cost and to get an investment later. Those are,
Right.
but so we know the difference between a preference and a truth. So our whole job is to lay out the truths so that we know what the costs and benefits are. And it mostly to prevent people from creating, degenerative cycles, which they seem to do with extraordinary regularity.
It's perverse incentives is all it is.
The kind way of looking at it is there's a maximum rate that which people can adapt to change, which is probably generationally.
Mm-hmm.
But we have no way of regulating our discovery process except to prevent discovery or resist it. So that, in other words, when we hit an industrial revolution or a cognitive revolution,
Mm-hmm.
it's not so what humans would adapt best on a linear ascending path, but that's not how we discover things. It's more like we have cliff events, right?
Yeah.
You go, whoa, shit,
Right.
whoa, whoa,
Right. Right. And there's the adoption curve after each one of those, which as we exploit the opportunity provided by that technical opportunity.
Yes. And so the problem for people is that adaptation. And the problem on top of that is institutional adaptation. So what we're really trying to say is we can provide the means for understanding how to adapt to any innovation across the spectrum by the use of computational and calculative institutions that are trying to not keep everything the same, but instead continuously helping people to adapt, not getting people to be responsible, but helping people continuously to adapt. And it's like, it's like this thing I talk about with therapy all the time, because in my world, everybody needs, a whole lot of people need fucking therapy. The problem is the quality of therapists is so bad that they're self-poisoning the well all the time. But the upper 20% of therapists, it's probably like the upper 50% of doctors, are pretty fucking good, right? So, if you to go through that spectrum, yeah, well, that's pretty good. But I don't view therapy as fixing broken. I just view it as continuing education.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's just continuing education. You need continuous physical training. You need physical, psychological training, psycho-emotional training. And you need continuous skill training. Why? Because we have to adapt more and faster as the rate of prosperity continues to emerge from innovation, adaptation, evolution of the world around us, right? And so while it turns out that a small number of people do all the innovating, a lot of it, whole rest of us got to do the adapting. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Anyway, so that's how I view religion. Is religion needs to be more be more technologically advanced, and that to help people continuously adapt toward a heroic end, rather than what most religion does is say we can't win, which most religion does, and so we have to accept it. And that's Islam in particular, or Buddhism. Whereas Christianity is mixed with Arianism, so you get this heroic on one hand and Christian love on the other, and the two together turn out to be pretty fucking adaptive, because Christian love is necessary. Did I swear too much again?
No, it wasn't too much.
Go to hell.
Now I know that AI is watching you. I'm like, it's made me more sensitive too.
I'm forget the point of, so the thing is that Christianity tends to be a pretty good religion for tolerating continuous area and innovation adaptation. So it turns out that combination is pretty good, especially if you're at the bottom, because it tells you don't have to do anything except tolerate, love, and care, which is evolutionarily way. We tolerate the continuous change of Aryan religion, Aryan civilization, which is continuous progressive innovation by heroism as a means of contributing to the commons. So I don't know. I was going somewhere with all that.
Let's say you were saying something about increasing technical application in religion.
Right. So my view is that religion, we need to see what other people are trying to do is develop secular humanism as a faith. And what we need to be more like the church in saying you actually need to have a program of training. Right. Or most like Stoicism, you need to have a program of training for continuous adaptation.
Right.
So my view would be is that we have to understand that my frame is that if God exists or gods exist, then they want us to join them because they're too small in number or something like that, right? And so our job is to be worthy to sit at the table with them, and so that's evolutionary direction, right? So that's our aspiration, because until we know better, the universe is. God sent us here to do something about the fucking universe, right? I swore again. Did I swear? Who's?
I don't.
I'm going to become even more self-conscious about my cursing than I am already. So, it's going to have an effect on me. I know it will.
It's unavoidable. It's being measured now.
Oh. Anyway, so I think we have to alter your religion because therapy is really just that. It's assisting you in adaptation.
Yes.
Continuous adaptation. That's and right. If I get some time between finish our work here and the next work we know, which is going to be on religion, I want to write a paper on why therapy is feminine and how to rotate it so that it can be either feminine or masculine depending on the person you're talking to. Right? You can switch them. So it's not Christian universal. It's sex differences reciprocal. Anyway, so where was I trying to get at with all that beginning there? So I was talking to all these people last night, and I felt like it was time to go on the road show, because I feel like we really can answer pretty much every open question. The problem is only the really hard questions versus in other words, the proofs, not the arguments. So somebody says to me, well, if I say, well, like neoteny, somebody's trying to argue with me, neoteny isn't the direction of human evolution after 130,000 years ago. I was like, you're fucking high. I mean, it's so obvious, it's painful. And we have great evidence of it because it's neotonic selection for domestication syndrome, and it happens to us in animals. We domesticated ourselves, and then we figured out how to apply it to animals, and we can only do it to liberals, we'd be fine.
And you didn't even cuss there.
So anyway, that was my rant it was just an interesting experience to go to you and I talking we're in our third year now. As you said yesterday, we're worked so hard to simplify the message that I sort of ran some tests, and the people loved it.
Yeah.
They were absolutely, they called it the best meeting we'd had.
Really?
Right. Well, it's partly due to the freaking fish, shrimp, mango, pepper, whatever Mexican explosion the guy made. He's an amateur chef, right? I mean, he's really good. And then the other guys for the second meal had was it carne asada tacos, right? With some fancy fucking sauce on them or other, with these pickled onions and what. So I mean, it was, it was the food certainly didn't hurt the conversation.
No.
It was pretty good. But anyway, so I just felt like we're increasingly ready, and I think we've justified the time that it's taken us to produce everything, or at least me, because if I'd have published this on any of my previous drafts, it would have gone nowhere, because it would have been too philosophical. Now it's science.
Yes.
And Brad says, stick with the science, Curt. You know how many times he told me that?
I recall.
You know how many times he told me that?
I know.
It's a couple hundred.
It's like this. It's like, oh, he just, Curt just keeps doing his thing, and then he says, "Oh, you were right."
Yeah. But I can't. It's because I have to have the evidence, right? I'm happy to admit you were right.
I know.
I might rub it in.
Yeah.
I have to rub it in, right? It's a
Right.
catharsis.
That has to be somewhat annoying to me, otherwise it won't be good.
Yes.
Right.
But the idea that we could put up the grammars, and we can literally cover all of human thought,
Yes.
right? And and we can start with the first principles, which is the logic behind all human thought and experience.
Well,
Right.
which is it's such a broad category of material, which is, it's unbelievable that it can be simplified and understood in a single graphic.
Right. And reduced to, I don't know, how many rules is it? I mean, it's 25 or something like that. I mean, it's stupid. I mean, it's just,
It's,
I mean, human cognition and language is basically programming, right? And we have program wars, right? We have my program against your program, and your program is someone else's program, and their program, and then we all have programs that sort of agree on some variables, types, and values, and the way. But I mean, in essence, I mean, if you look at what we come up with, as the law, right, as the law of decidability, it looks a hell of a lot like programming.
yes.
And that's, and and the programming is a way of organizing neurons that are dynamically organized, rather than by the correlation between some stimulation and the body, right?
Okay.
So it's just fascinating to me that you do this programming stuff to humans to organize a bunch of neurons, right? I mean, and there's like, well, how else would they organize? They don't have any prior knowledge. So then if you say, okay, well, our language, our physical universe, our first principles, our grammars, right, our language are just means of organizing information so that it can be put into a neural structure,
Right.
which is the most efficient structure, right? I mean, because that's the thing about human brains is they sacrifice accuracy for speed and efficiency, right? Speed, efficiency, and storage efficiency. And it's just like, well, we explain this. It's like, well, of course it has to be that way. It can't happen any other way unless you start with the premise that we're designed. But if you're not designed, we're evolved, right, from the first principles. And then we're trying to program ourselves to defeat time and space. Right? I mean, it's just, of course, we're programming each other with time and space, and we're doing it with competing programs. And it's just, I don't know, something just weird about it. I mean, it's it goes back to my statement of, is it humble? You say it's humbling, and I say it's humiliating.
I knew this was coming. I could see the arc. I thought it ends up in this lamentations about botness.
Yes, I mean, it's just humiliating to realize we're just bots.
I could see this coming like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I know where this is going.
It's just, and I love your ability to laugh at the world as it is and just accept it.
it is an interesting process because you can cry and there's no beer. Why would you cry without a beer? Makes no sense, right?
That is such a beautiful human reduction. Why cry when there's no beer?
It makes no sense. It's just, I was thinking about these rainbows, right? It's like, but it's a fascinating function here, right? Because it's like this, it's like the difference between the rainbow, which is sent by God, a actual rainbow, is a optical illusion created by physics. As the light refracts through the droplets in front of you with the light behind you.
Yes.
It's a rainbow, but you're looking into the darkness, right? Away from the light. And the symbol of the rainbow, which is drawn by humans, which claims to have a pot of gold at the bottom and maybe a leprechaun hiding it, it's all a bunch of nonsense, and it's idolatrous silliness. Does this make sense? And it's imitating seeking to imitate the natural rainbow and suggest a natural rainbow, but is not a natural rainbow at all.
Right.
It's artificial, and it's like, and it is used so frequently by people who would seek to cast spells on us. That's all. There you go. I apologize for that.
I stopped myself from swearing just now.
That was good.
I was going to say
You're being reprogrammed.
It's not fair. I don't like it. I want to be anyway.
It's application of technology to our religious program here.
Yes.
To self-help. It's all self-help, Curt.
Oh God.
Oh, it's wonderful. It is.
Our weekend chats are always wonderful. Okay, so we've spent 50 minutes or something like that, 45 minutes. So
Limbered up.
Should we
I think we should stop the recording and then reconvene.
Yes, and we'll reconvene. So we'll say like, subscribe,
yes,
hit the bell, leave comments, tell us what you thought.
That was not engaging or charismatic enough.
Okay, I would you do better.
Allow me.
I will allow you.
Wait, you behind the screen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the alarm bell so that you know about these things, and leave your glorious comments to us.
Okay. You are way better. That's true.
I'm trying to get up my charismatic score. I have to talk more than 12% of the time too, Curt.
It's 25.
I know. I just made that up. Oh, very good. We'll reconvene in. You don't even have to. You just stop recording, and then it will naturally cut it, right?
Correct. So I'm going to stop recording, and then we'll start for the next one. All right.
Excellent.
Do we cover everything we need to cover today? I think
so.
Okay. Thanks everyone for watching.